Under the hills, over a gloomy sea, there sits a hermit and his wilful deed. His form is unknown, neither is his might, but a sage he is, and it is not his fight. Balance he seeks, but the world grows wild. Chaos and order are every man's plight. He opens his eyes, all three at once. War swept in one, misery in the other one. But the inner sight, so true and strong, reveals all and more in the third eye alone. He wonders again and again and again. Why does this life spring from the ground when souls around it are nothing but blood-bound? The answer he sought was revealed to his sight. He bows in respect and cleanses everything with his tide. In a world so large, with swords and kings, bound to their fate and their hateful sins, as mighty as they are, with their titles and kins, but who are they to oppose this feat, when a soul's heart begins to beat? Hello, I'm the Holy Hermit, and I welcome you to a special build video of mine. There are times when playing with your fellow friends from Sanctuary can be tough. If the goal is to farm on monster power 10 and do well against Uber, the most preferred state of play is to invite a CM wizard that can perma-freeze your opponents. But what if I tell you that there's another way? A cheaper and equally effective alternative way. The way, of course, is to follow the path of a perma-stun monk. But before we delve further into this video, please understand that this is a support build for monks that works wonder on high monster powers and on Ubers. If you choose to play with this build, your DPS will be low, but what you can do with this build is something that characters with elevated DPS will struggle to do. Monsters and Ubers will constantly stay stunned for the entirety of the duration of this build. So without further ado, I bring to you Perma-stun Monk. In our first section, we will look at our gear requirements, what we need to wear in order to make this build more effective. The first answer is a low-level legendary called Sledge Fist. This fist weapon holds a great secret in itself. It has a whopping 50% chance to stun enemies. Since you'll be playing on low DPS due to the way this weapon works, you'll also require a dagger with life on hit. A socket here would do well, but this time I would humbly recommend you to use an amethyst for increased life on hit on your gear. To increase the effectiveness of this build, a final suggestion is to have attack speed on your gear. As tricky as this sounds, it will not be hard to stack attack speed, as all that is required from this build is to have life on hit and attack speed. There is no need for critical hit chance or damage. Trifectas and quadfectas are expensive, but attack speed on its own is very cheap. But as I always say, knowing the gear is only half the battle. The rest is won through selecting an appropriate build. So here are my recommendations. Crippling Wave with Tsunami to increase the reach of your attacks. Blinding Flash with Echo to interrupt enemies long after your first cast. Seven-sided Strike with Pandemonium, a 25% chance to stun on every hit, leading to 7 hit almost guarantees a prolonged stun on a single character. Serenity with Peaceful Repose, healing yourself when all else fails. Mantra of Retribution with Transgression to further increase your already astounding attack speed. And the final active skill is to choose Cyclone Strike with Implosion to pull everyone and everything towards you. This is a great complement for your Crippling Wave. If you lack some life on hit or are facing Ubers, you can replace this with Breath of Heaven, Circle of Life for extra heal. Your passives are Transcendence for life per spirit spend, Beacon of Yitar to complement the cooldown of your numerous active skills, and Resolve that allows you to take reduced damage every time you attack enemies. Knowing and understanding something are two very different things, so please allow me to expand on this principle of Perma-stun Monk. Every gear piece and skill of this build is focused on one item, that is the Sledge Fist. This weapon has the ability to always roll high chance of stun on hit, so it is essential to buy this item with highest possible stun chance. This can go up to 50%. If your budget allows you to go further, I would recommend you to get a socket in it and put a life on hit gem there. Otherwise, life per spirit spend is another good option. Monk is a class with primary skills that can hit everyone around him, Skills like Fists of Thunder, Way of 100 Fist, and Deadly Reach all can do that. A few runes even make this effect better. Runes like Scattered Blow for Deadly Reach, but the best area damage skill for Monk is Crippling Wave. If you add Tsunami rune to this skill, your range is extended and your Sledge Fist will hit more enemies around you. If the choice for secondary skill is Cyclone Strike, you can pull enemies towards you from a longer distance and keep them stunned forever. Rest all skills, irrespective if they deal damage or not, are defensive in nature. Blinding Flash will cause an instant blind when it's casted, but the rune Blinding Echo will interrupt Ubers and monsters again and stop them dead in their tracks if they're on the verge of attacking you again. Seven-Sided Strike with Pandemonium will stun enemies around you, but will also heal you with life on hit present on your gear. Serenity is quite simple on its own. It will heal you, but it will also make you invincible for 3 seconds. Reflect damage from Retribution is not very useful, but the 8% attack speed increase certainly is. Cyclone Strike can be replaced with Circle of Life to give you an additional layer of defense if you wish to do so. Passives here also serve an important purpose. With high spirit spending on your gear, it is only fair to use Transcendence to get additional heal from it. With multiple enemies being around you, their damage to you is always reduced, thanks to our resolve. Also with this build, you have 4 active skills that are subjective to a cooldown. Beacon of Yitar make this delay a tad bit shorter, allowing you to control your vitality in a more manageable way. The way you go about with dealing damage with this build is to always pull enemies towards you with Cyclone, and then use the power of Sledge Fist with your elevated attack speed to stun enemies. Tackle the monsters in such a way that there's always a spare defensive skill left for you to use in case of dire need. Everything will be stunned, and your teammates will take care of rest. With the upcoming patches in Diablo 3, there's a chance for Sledge Fist to be buffed. Imagine this build when this item has a high enough TPS. Imagine the chaos a monk can cause with this build. A monk that works equally effective as a CM wizard, but everything will cease to move. This is the build for you. It offers a relaxing way to play as Monk. Perma-stun certainly holds true here, as even Ubers find it hard to play at their full potential. To sum it all up then, this is a support build that allows Monk to stop enemies dead in their tracks. With life on hit and attack speed on your side, enemies will have no chance to retaliate back as your fellow friends wipe them out with ease. So behold the power of Perma-stun Monk. This has been the Holy Hermit for you. I hope you enjoyed this video of mine. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment if you have any questions. In the end, I wish you have a great day ahead, and remember, our will is what makes us strong, but it is our hands that mold the world around us.